This podcast is rated IS for incredibly silly and definitely contains bad words, bad jokes, and other bad content that should not be heard by anyone, least of all children. Or maybe it should be. We don't know. We're still not their parents. You're listening to the Starforge podcast with Scya and Mal, two nerdy humans who still have a lot to say about Star Wars: The Old Republic and all its features. Rest assured, the podcast is, as always, working as intended. This is episode 29, Great Expectations 7.1. Hello, SWTOR players. I am Mal.
And I'm Scya.
We are so happy to be back with you again, talking about Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Talking about stuff that hasn't even happened yet. If you wanted an evergreen episode, well, this is going to be your chance to later on listen and make fun of us for all the stuff we got wrong.
It's true. I think about that episode before 7.0 where I was like, relax, it's not going to be that bad. Oh man.
You didn't even know what you were talking about.
Just skip that episode or listen to it to laugh at how fucking wrong we were. In my
so
defense,
we're going to be talking about?
I was going to say, in our defense, though, there had never been a patch as bad as that one, though, so.
There really hasn't been.
Hey.
May there never be one again.
This is the way. So say we all. May the Force be with you.
You're going to listen into us talking less about what's going to be in 7.1 and more about what our expectations are for a patch like this. We're going to be talking about the new daily area and the new operation and what we would hope as longtime players to see in those type of updates.
But with the new operation, you know what I bet? I bet they're definitely going to be disappointing other people. All right, Scya, so you've actually been on the PTS, and you have seen this new operation, the R4 Anomaly. Talk to me about that.
This operation has actually been on the test server before, but this is the first time I got to check it out, and it's the first time it's there in its entirety. So originally, this operation was supposed to come out with the expansion, but it got delayed. We don't know the exact story, but quarantine seems to have really thrown off the cadence of the whole dev team. There was also supposed to be 5 bosses, but one wasn't working out well. I don't think this was quite a delay thing. It sounds like they actually had a lot of mechanics finished for this fight, but it just wasn't working out well in practice with people actually testing out and stuff like that. I think it's called the train something or other. I have no details, just players saying, oh yeah, this is where the boss would have been if it was here. So we only got 4 bosses. Okay, here we go. On the test server, it is really, really, really difficult, really hard, both mechanics-wise and the damage required due to a burn phase in just the very first boss. Even the first boss in story mode seemed like it required players who are skilled enough to be doing Nightmare Mode Nephra or better. It really felt familiar to when Mia and Mal are doing the Nightmare Mode operations on the current live server, which just absolutely blew me away. They are still working on it and editing it, and I've never really seen a clear answer on whether they want it to be easy enough or they want it to be a more difficult story mode, because right now it is hard. I am not going to be able to take my morning groups, which I call Team Chaos, where we just grab whatever 16 people we can find. We can do pretty much any story mode operation, but I am not going to take them into this one if it remains how it is on the test server.
Damn.
It's freaking hard. I getting my butt whipped. I was like, oh my God, I don't have to pay attention in story mode. That's the rules.
Yeah, that's interesting. So my opinion of the story modes, let's look at the name. Story mode. You're there to experience the story of the operation. So I think always story modes have been a little too easy. I think they should, because sometimes they don't even show you some of the mechanics that pop up in hard mode, right? They just get cut out entirely. I think they should, keep a lot of the things, especially from hard mode, keep some of that in story mode, but just make it, not punishing. But not so that when people make the leap from story mode to hard mode, they're like, oh my God, what is going on?
It's a pretty terrifying leap right now. In my opinion, story mode You should be able to walk into it, and it should be easy. It should have some mechanics so you're not just walking dead on your feet, kind of like you do while you're playing the story. But I don't necessarily agree with all the hard mode mechanics being there because it can be crazy overwhelming for new players. And we actually play with different types of people. Mal plays more with skilled players most of the time, though she does jump into pug groups, which is where we get all our beautiful, disappointing other people stories. And I play, very specifically, I play with a skilled group. And I play with just random people, many of which who have never stepped foot into an operation before. And I like to be able to bring them in. And for me, that's what a story mode should be. But I love the difficult stuff. I need to be careful and not say I love the hard stuff, Mal. It's been really hard to not say that lately on stream.
You like it hard.
I like difficult mode stuff. It's fun. It's engaging. Often when I'm doing the story modes with skilled groups or like with people like Mal, I'm just kind of going through the motions. I'm not necessarily having fun or feeling challenged. And our whole Team Potato, which is our skill group, refuses to do story modes now because everyone's like, I'm good. I need gear, but let's skip it. So should there be harder story modes? This is the newest one after all.
I mean, as of right now with max gear, I mean, I did a EC story mode last night. There are only 6 of us. One tank, one healer, and DPS, and we kind of mopped the whole zone. So, I mean, that's pretty easy.
That was way too easy for you. And to complement that, I took in that 16-man group and we wiped multiple times on the tanks. The tanks are hella hard in 16-man when people don't know what they're doing versus you guys going in and doing it 2 people short. I'm like, oh, such discrepancy, such disparity.
Yeah. Well, if you took 8 or 10 into a 16, that would be easier, probably. Less to corral.
Less people to watch, right?
16 man has always been weirdly balanced, and that's probably why there is no 16-man version of this new raid. This is
That's
also
right.
This is also the first new raid in how long? 2
Since Gods.
years?
Yeah.
Since Duxon.
Oh, since Duxon.
2 years? Almost 3 years? Probably since Duxon? 2.5, 3? 4?
Right, we had a
what
gap.
year is it? Who am I? Who are you? There's a big
This is
gap.
evergreen content. Evergreen content. No years. It is interesting because they made Gods from the Machine, saying that players wanted more mechanics heavy fights, and then they did Duxon, where it was a step back from the mechanics being so like memorization and full front craziness. It still had a lot of mechanics, but I feel like things are easier to learn and do on the fly compared to Gods, where you need like a small sermon before each boss to even progress.
Because a lot of Duxon is just run, just keep running, run to the droid, just trail
run
all the
up the
stuff
stairs.
behind you.
But I don't know what they were going for with this one. I don't feel like they stated their goals anywhere quite so clearly. I feel like they are shooting for harder just based on the fact that there's new gear coming from this one.
Yeah, it could be because that's where they're putting the gear. It could also be it's because this is the new ops content. Who knows if they'll make a nightmare mode of it? It might be a Ravager's Toss situation.
Right. It is planned. They haven't said anything otherwise, whether it will happen. But I don't know.
So maybe they're just trying to make it last longer for people.
So you seem to be more in the camp of story mode should be easy, but have all the mechanics so you can at least see them, even if they don't actually hurt you. So right now in the game, you basically can go into most story modes with basic level 80 gear. You don't need anything crazy. You more just kind of need to know how to play your class at a basic level. How much gear should you need for story mode operations? Should you have to gear up a little bit in flashpoints and stuff first?
For story mode, like when you hit 80? I mean,
Yeah.
my God, you can just buy 320 gear off the little terminal thing,
You can,
right?
absolutely. But should you
I
need
think
better?
that's fine. I think that's fine for story mode.
So right now on the test server, what they give you as free gear on the test server to try out R4 Anomaly, the new operation, is 330 purple Rakata gear with augments. I don't know if that's the recommendation of what you need to go in, but it certainly feels like it is for that first boss.
I mean, maybe they assume by the time the op comes out that most people will have that.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
Most Nightmare Mode raiders will have that. People who don't even play Nightmare Mode don't even get any ricotta at all.
Sure they
People
do.
who don't...
I did a Nephra last night with the Sage doing 11.5k. 11.5.
If you have ricotta gear and you button mash the first 5 abilities you get as you level up, you can do 5,000 damage.
Wow.
And if you button mash other abilities, you can do 10,000 damage. So Sage,
Jeez.
come on. Do 1k less and at least I'll think you're button mashing. So do you think it should be easy to jump into story modes? Do you think you should need to gear up first?
I mean, no, I don't think so. It's a story mode. You're there to see the story.
You keep talking about story like operations actually have a story, man.
The Dread ones do.
Oh, they do. They totally do.
The Duxon one does. They talk all the time in there. I don't know. I still don't know what it's about, but they talk a lot in there.
Your other left.
About this, that, and whatever.
This new operation, I'm not entirely sure what the story is because we can test it out, but we can't see the cutscenes and story-related stuff for it. There is a giant robot lady at the end that you fight, and I can't figure out if she's like pivotal to the story or if she's like an actual person or AI or if she's just like somebody's pet robot. I'm actually looking forward to this because apparently it has some Knights of the Old Republic throwbacks. Not that once again you would know anything about that. Sorry.
Gloves and pants. Talk to me. So you know what then? I guess my opinion is if they're handing out 330 purple ricotta gear to do a story mode, that's silly.
That's high, right?
That's silly.
So one interesting thing is that your green gear, at least, and your Flashpoint gear will be able to be upgraded beyond what they can in the live server. I think I got it right. It was hard to test.
Okay.
I think you can make green go all the way up to 330, and then I think you can make blue go all the way up to 330 as well. But we know the discrepancy between those greens and like the purples for the stat distributions is pretty high. It makes a big difference.
So I guess needing full 330 augmented gear for a story mode is a little ridiculous. But
that's high.
All of the story modes, though, because of the time they were released, the mechanics they contain, what was going on with the game at the time, they are all very different. You could probably do EV story mode with 4 people. Whatever. You know, same with KP. But the ops themselves, they get progressively harder. Just in the nature of how they were made. So while you might be able to run into EV and KP and, 320 whatever gear, you might need a little bit more for the story modes like EC and DF and DP.
No, I'm telling you, 16 man, go in naked. I mean, 320 gear. I got you. I'm going to carry you in my backpack.
In the backpack.
The backpack, we're running backwards and I got lost somewhere along the way, but we'll get there in the end. Something else, I've told you a lot about what I think about the bosses off the podcast, and you've gotten a chance to see a little bit about them, and you know that it's a challenging, at least the first boss is very challenging. The second one is, I think it's broken right now. We're trying to figure out if it's like as difficult as it's supposed to be. I've seen a lot of teams having a hard time. And then the third boss, you got to see, it was just kind of like it's got a ton of mechanics and seems very fun, but it wasn't hard. And then the last boss, I don't know how it works. I just kind of like pressed my 1 key to victory with that team. Do you think we'll have fun with this in story mode for our more skilled team?
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Like I said, it's, you got to learn. The first 2, at least, looked like they had a lot of interesting mechanics going on. It's nice to see those while it's not quite so punishing to everyone.
Right.
But then it would be interesting to see what they add in hard mode.
Hard mode. I have not touched that at all, and I don't specifically know any teams who are doing it. Like, I know there's people doing it because I've talked to them. There's teams going for world first, but they don't want to talk about their tactics and stuff because they're trying to lock down that every advantage they can get, and they know I'll go post it. They're real nice. They were helping us a lot out in story mode, but they're like, I can't tell you everything because it's live right now. And I was like, it's okay.
Trade secrets.
Thanks for the help as it is.
Hey, you know what? That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. But I haven't seen anyone posting like reviews of hard mode or how much harder it is. I have very little info about it, but I'm scared. Like Team Potato, I can't talk about them, but I can talk about myself on Team Potato. I struggle a lot with the current nightmare modes. I feel like we got past Dread Council nightmare mode by the skin of my teeth. So I don't know. Like, we haven't even.
God, and those are mechanics we know so well.
I know, and we don't even know about the new one.
Yeah.
And we haven't tried some of the hard modes like gods. I don't even know if I've done hard mode gods at all. Like, is this new operation even going to be accessible to like me? Am I going to be able to do it? I don't know.
In hard mode?
Yeah, in hard mode.
They'll drag you through.
Thanks.
You will get an hour backpacks.
You might have to find a new tank because I'm getting really good at DPS. Like, I didn't realize like I actually can parse high and concealment. So maybe I can just stab things to death. Okay. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. What do you parse in concealment?
And concealment, so with full Rakata gear, I hopped on the PTS to test it out. Without augments, I think I was parsing like, what was it? Like 26K, and with augments, like 29K. I was like, hell yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so
but that's without having to move around.
That's good that they have a boss that's kind of easy. You always got to have the free loot boss.
But I thought he should be at the beginning, right?
No, the free loot boss is always tucked in the middle. You know, it's like the Kephis in TFB or the commanders in Temple of Sacrifice. The free loot boss.
They did split up the loot. Very interesting for this one. I think they were sick of us doing Nightmare Mode Nephra to get our entire set of gear. And so they made it so that specific pieces are locked behind specific bosses. And especially in hard mode, you only get so many for your whole team. So you cannot just farm that first boss and call it a day. You do have to go through the whole thing if you're trying to gear up in that best of the best 340 gear. So I did have a question for you about that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the new gear being gated behind the new operation? You cannot get it any other way.
I think that's fine. I guess my only question really would be for PvP players. Because I always tell you, it's really different. Some people, they do PvP and PvE. Some people, they only do one or the other. So I'm talking specifically about those two types of players. I don't want to hear that you're doing dailies and heroics and you need 340 gear. Get out of here. Mal has no time for it. You don't need it.
So I can tell you one thing. It looked like the PvP gear, once again, it was difficult to test on the test server, but I think it does go up in rank. I think it might be able to upgrade to 330 purple now. But I still am not sure how on the live server, if you are a 326 PvP gear player, if you go up against someone with 330 Rakata, is there actually a difference, or is the debolster working? Because if the debolster is working, it don't matter.
Yeah, if the debolster works, then it doesn't matter.
I don't know if it does or not. I haven't heard anyone complaining about it. So
well, augments don't count now in PvP.
Well, they don't work for anyone, so there you go.
Yeah, but like, what is that? Can you imagine you spend all that time to augment your gear and it just doesn't fucking work? It's terrible. I don't even PvP, okay? But I'm on your side, PvPers, because that's bullshit.
PvP, but it still chaps your jammies.
But it's bullshit. It's bullshit. So, I mean, I don't mind it because, you know me, I'm very old school. That's how it was. When they dropped TFB Nightmare, it dropped a new tier of gear, and that's the only place you could get it from.
Right, we kind of talked about this when 7.0 dropped, because the Rakata gear, the best gear in the game, you can currently only get it from operations. And we were like, wow, that's how it used to be in the olden days. It's only the last expansion where you could actually get the best gear if you were running around pew-pewing this dailies and heroics and stuff.
Right, but because Nephra is so easy now, you know, everybody has that gear. The Sage doing 11.5.
Shut up. Shut your frickin' pie hole. I just tried to take in a group to do Nightmare Mode Nephra, and they were doing at least like 12K, everybody.
And it's not enough.
Still not enough. You cannot say that anyone can jump into Nightmare Mode Nephra. People like me, who are not necessarily actually doing well enough for Nightmare Mode without some heavy carry, can do Nephra, but anyone below that, it's hard. Plus, it's hard to find groups if you're not already good enough to carry your weight.
Right. That's people, they say, oh, fully gear 330 XYZ. Yeah, I was in a Nephra with a fully gear 330 XYZ, and they were doing 11.5K.
I see your star parse. It's really low.
Just really low. Even for lightning. I do like 28K in that fight.
Right. So Mal's
like,
getting at you can be geared now and not have the skill level to go with it.
It's very tricky. Now
expansion,
you will know.
Yeah, if someone has above, I think it's above 330 gear. I'm not 100% sure. That means they pass this first boss. His name is ICPCT, but I keep calling him ICUP because I'm a 5-year-old.
ICP, the Insane Clown Posse boss.
No!
That's what I'm going to call it from now on.
Oh, okay. I need to make like a cosplay costume up for my character. And if they pass that boss, that's one of the hardest bosses in the operation. They're definitely carrying their weight, especially if they're a damage-based character.
That's kind of fun. It's like a Bestia check. It's like Bestia Nightmare. She is no joke. And you will know immediately off the bat what
someone
kind of
has
day,
their achievie.
what kind of day you're going to have. But you know, it's something to work towards. Do your story modes, get your gear, learn your rotation, get better. And then you earn that gear. And now everybody knows you earned that. I mean, I'm not saying that no one can be carried through a hard mode ever. But for the most part,
everyone wants to gear up. We're not at the point to carry yet. Yeah.
Right. So, that's an achievement to be proud of. We used to run, oh my God, you have Cal Dragon gear. Wow, these people are really good. They know what they're doing.
And it glows. Everybody could see it visually. It glowed. You knew they were cool.
It's cool. It's a cool thing
I didn't get
to
any.
have. And other people have cool things, cool mounts, cool outfits from things they like to do that I don't like to do. Like the speeder thing, the ones you ride around and race. What's that thing called?
Oh, swoop events.
Those. I don't have any of that shit, but I might see someone and go, oh, that looks really cool.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
From the swoop event. Well,
You didn't put in the time and effort to do it, so you didn't get the reward.
I didn't.
I did mention earlier that I was playing out with parsing. I wanted to know, how much could I do with better gear? Like, same rotations, same amount of screw-ups. What would be the value difference? It was quite surprising to me. It was quite large, actually. I need to really watch what I say.
Do I need to make a note and cut something? Should I be cutting? Get the scissors, get the snippers.
It's too funny. It's fine. I'm going to talk about my big old parse. And what I found out was that I was also doing some testing about what we've been calling a 5 ability rotation, because a lot of players say, I'm overwhelmed. I understand the concept of parsing. Maybe that by itself isn't too scary, but I still have to learn those 30 freaking abilities and this whole rigmarole, and it's scary. So we've been working on a 5 ability rotation where a lot of these 5 ability rotations that are very minimal, you can still reach like 20K on the dummy. Like, it's nuts. So I was also testing that out. So I think my goal this year is going to be try and encourage people to start picking up a basic rotation, make it less scary, and encourage people to actually try parsing. I think I'm going to do some contests and stuff. Like, parse. You don't have to do good. Just parse and submit your proof and you'll be entered to win a prize or something.
Right. Start with the 5 buttons and then add in extra stuff. Start
we
with
call
your
it,
right.
No, we call it. We added a little section if you're up to adding a little more, we call that section called feeling spicy.
It's true. There are a lot of changes in 7.0. They did take a lot of stuff away, but a lot of the rotations now, they're pretty simple to do good DPS with. So good for people. Just try to get better. You can do it.
I believe in you.
Well, one thing before you are definitely onto something with the 5-button rotation, because I was on an op Sunday. It was just a casual story mode, but somebody who was healing changed her Sage to TK. And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I said, do you want a fast rotation?
Yeah, you don't have time to go read the whole freaking guide.
And I did not tell her everything. I was like, this. Like, if you just do those, just keep doing those, you'll be doing enough. Fine. You'll be doing fine.
You're not going to be running Nightmare Mode Dread Council, but you don't need to. It's fine.
I didn't even bring up the cooldowns, the polarity shift and forget it. No, whatever.
Those didn't make it on our 5-button list.
It's fine. That's what you add later. Then you practice that later.
When you're feeling spicy.
Right. When you can do the 5 buttons without looking at the 5 buttons. Now you add more stuff in.
Speaking of adding more stuff in.
I'm done with operations. I'm getting in my ship and I'm sailing to this new planet. And I'm bringing my umbrella. because it's rainy there. Tell me about the Manon Daily area. Flying solo.
All right, let's dive right in. So much like the operation, this one was meant to be released with the expansion, but was delayed. I've actually had a lot of players asking me what is a daily area, because a daily is something you do every day, but what does that mean? So back in the day when we didn't have operations to gear up in, just joking, we had one operation, we would go to these areas called daily areas, and they were called that because you could return to them daily when almost every other quest in the game was just one time and you're done. More has been added over the years, but the idea of a daily area is somewhere you return to daily to work on a reward over time. So a lot of these are tied to the reputation tracks you may see in your legacy panel, and a lot of them have cosmetic rewards that you can earn over time. Manon Daily area, the exact same thing. So we can't see the story on the test server right now, but it picks up where the story left off on Manon in the Legacy of the Sith expansion, the super short story. Super. The general idea is that there's a group of cell casts that want to keep outsiders
Shellcasts?
No. They want to keep the outsiders off the planet. So you're fighting the cell casts, and the cell casts are fighting both the Republic and the Empire. The daily area is pretty standard. There's repeatable quests, a reputation track, reputation-based rewards, and it looks like they're hard to test on the test server, some hidden achievements. Nothing's very difficult. And the opposite of the operation. And the dailies are very familiar compared to the ones we've done before. The only one that might be a challenge so far on the test server is the Heroic 4. I wasn't able to solo that, but I have seen some other players do it, and I bet you anything Mal probably could with her skill level. The rewards are pretty plentiful. Lots of on-theme decoration sets, some new weapons, a turtle pet. It's so cute.
I bet you're so excited for that.
I love turtle. And a ton of underwater decorations. And this is where I really wanted to talk to Mal, because daily areas, I used to run them a lot, but I never really thought much about them. But Mal also runs them a lot and still does to this day. So Mal, since you do daily a lot, what are you looking for or hoping for from a new daily area in general?
I like sometimes when the dailies are different side to side because it can make it less boring. What I don't like, though, is when one side is really easy and then the other side is much harder.
Oh, like a bias? Like, I'll do the easy one today.
Yeah. Like the end of the black hole in Republic is so easy. And then the Imperial
I didn't know
one
that
is
till
like
very recently.
forever.
I ran black hole and I was like, what is this? Why is there a puzzle? I just want to kill a guy with grenades.
Well, and then to kill, God, the guys, they spawn for like 10 minutes. It's just...
You like balance? You like balance?
Yeah, I like some balance to it. I like some humor also. There's a Dantooine heroic. It's really funny. Beware of Hugo, where the dog runs around and he's eating the people in the room.
Stinky breath. His halitosis is his cast. I love that.
It's really funny. Yeah. The first time we did that in 7.0 when we had no gear, Vaz and I were like, oh God. Ugh.
Sorry. I really like the Dantooine dailies for being hard, for being difficult, and they're really fun to learn to solo if you're a skilled player.
Yeah, but some of the heroics, kind of a pain in the ass if you don't have someone with you.
Stealthing, sneaking.
And I think with the way that the game is right now, whatever they make for the daily area, it's probably best if you can do it by yourself.
So I do have good news. The way the weeklies work for Manon right now is there are 2 easy heroics and 1 quite hard one, but none of those are necessary for the weekly. They're just a faster way to earn some reputation. As far as I can tell, unlike Dantooine, they don't have a specific currency tied to them.
Mm-hmm.
That may change. They don't have a specific reward. You can get the same stuff just by doing the normal dailies.
Yeah, and hidden stuff is fun. I like some of the stuff. Some of the stuff on Dantooine is funny. Like that one with the well. That's funny.
Well. Yes, I love that one.
Finding that guy that's hidden. I think that's fun too.
Oh, the one on Osis, the Dawn the Exiled Knight?
Oh, is he on Osis or is he on?
Are we talking? Because there's a Dantooine
right?
like pirate treasure map kind of thing you're following, like a notes or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's...
Oh, the guy with Polly, right?
That's fun too.
Yeah.
That stuff is fun too. Quirky stuff. You know, where you go, oh, that's cute and quirky and fun. It's different.
I feel like the tone of Manon is a bit more serious than compared to Dantooine because it's related to Cellcast cultists and like isolationists and stuff like that. But I just like finding this stuff. I never really thought about caring about the humor and story, but I do really like that on Dantooine, especially because a lot of the stuff you really want to do it with a group. So I'm like yakking away and laughing at it with other people.
I don't like that one, though, on Dantooine where you have to get in that stupid walker.
No more of that.
Anything in SWTOR, you got to get in a walker. I'm done. I'm done with that. Please throw that in the garbage. It's just so boring.
And
it's reliant on you working this dumb thing instead of your own person.
So we talked a little bit about how the Dantooine heroics are quite difficult, or you want another person with you. The heroic 4 on Manon, you're probably going to want another person in general. Do you think daily areas should be hard, or should they remain kind of a bastion of easy, fun content to run?
No, I don't think they should be hard. They're a thing you do daily. You want to beat your head against the wall daily, and we always laugh, right? Oh my God, you don't need 330 ricotta to do your fucking dailies. And you shouldn't need it. You should be able to just go out however you are. Hell, some people like to RP. You should be able to just RP, walk your way through dailies. They should not be hard. That's not the point of them. Please don't make them hard.
So I know you are a reputation queen. Am I correct to say that you have every reputation?
Except the, what do you call it? The bike, the riding, the driving,
the racing. Except the swoop event. LOL.
Cars 10, Star Wars.
But apart from that, do you still work on the reputation tracks, the ones that there's not necessarily a reward you really want? Because the Manon daily area, like I said, it's not necessarily fun on its own. It's just simple. And I don't know if you'll like the rewards or not. I like them a lot. There's like a bunch of underwater decorations. But if you don't care, will you still do it?
Yeah, I like the rep for just because I'm a completionist. And I have them all done except the swoop one. All of them, every single one, even IOCAF.
And lastly, I don't think they're going to be adding anything to the test server, but if you're making your own daily area, is there any type of mechanic or quest type you'd like to see in a daily area that you haven't seen before or would really like to see again?
I'm not sure.
I'm a big fan of the world bosses, so I'm like, more. I want to fight a giant fish or something.
A giant cell calf.
Do you have a favorite daily area?
Zerka is very easy.
Because it's fast and easy. Well, Manon should
Ziost. Ziost is the fastest.
Fast and easy?
10 minutes. You can be naked to do Ziost. I know this because I forgot my gear and I had already popped one of those robots. Well, here I am.
I think you're going to like Manon then. It can be very fast, I imagine, if you know the route. It seems like it'd be pretty quick and easy, and the area is not huge like Osis is. But it's pretty decent size.
You know what's neat? Even though sometimes I'm really bad at it, you know that one in the black hole where you have to sneak around in the listening station and plant those things?
Right. That one's very different.
Because it can be very easy if you're good at it and you know the path, or it can be kind of a pain if you get caught. But if you get caught, it's your punishment for being bad. I'm bad. I get caught all the time. Vaz laughs at me. But that's okay because he can't do the Ziost one. He can't scan the little thingies because, God, you still can't be in a group for some of those.
I think Manon, I actually thought about that while I was doing the Manon dailies. I didn't fully test, but I think pretty much everything works with a friend.
Is that a thing they're going to fix for the other ones?
Probably not.
It's really tiresome. Why did they do that?
They're still trying to get their 6-month-old content out. I don't think they're going back to the black hole for you, baby. I'm sorry.
Picking up the turnips that fell off the truck. Oh, my God. Here comes the 7.1 bus. Hitchhike. Pull over.
But before 7.1 comes, should we talk about what's actually happening in the game right now?
Yep, because as always, Scya, I want you to tell me the news. You heard it here last.
The Raquel event will be running, hopefully when you hear this episode, June 14th through 21st, 2022. And later in the month, the Gree event for level 50 and up, though it can be kind of funky, will be running June 28th through July 5th, 2022. And we're all waiting for that big update 7.1 with that operation we talked about, that new Manon Daily area, and potentially a whole new slew of outfits for you to wear, that will be targeted for release in mid-summer, and both of those big things are testable on the test server right now.
Yeah, they have some old outfits, right? That are going to be a big credit sink for people.
It's like 88 of them. It's kind of crazy, and I'm really excited for it, but I don't know if that's going to stick around or if it's going to change by the time it makes it to live.
What was the price at? Like $1 million for a set?
200,000 per piece, 7 pieces, so 1.4 million per set times 88. If you want to collect them all, have fun.
I mean, you could. That's a fair price for that, I think.
Right, 1.4 million for an outfit, really not too bad, especially because you can even buy them as free to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not a great credit sink because people who have a lot of money will not buy that.
I don't know if it's meant to be.
They will not buy that. The people who are destitute will want to buy those.
We need a 1 billion credit achievement with a toy that turns you green.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Well, that's all. Are they going to have another event? I'm tired of these events. Anybody else tired of these events? Raquel, Gree, Bounty.
They just added the swoop event.
What? Wasn't that like 5 years ago?
This is the end of our show. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Make a new event. See you guys later.
Bye. You've been listening to the Starforge podcast with Scya and Mal. We know you have your choice of podcasts and you chose the right one. New episodes drop every Friday on Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Swtorista's YouTube channel, and just about every other podcast platform in existence. For show notes, pictures, and other information, visit starforgepodcast.com. Hit us up on Twitter at StarforgeCast. We love hearing from you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next week. Okay, let's move on now, though.